G'day guys, welcome back to another video. I'm going to do a bit of a series on prepping for reef fishing trips or any long range sort of trip we do. Mainly for me it's reef fishing, but you'll be able to apply it to other varieties of fishing too, estuaries and that sort of thing. So today I'm going to show you how to salt down mullet and squid. Just to, you can see it's all filleted fish. You do lose a bit of the size of it, but it becomes a whole lot tougher. This bait will stick together. You'll get multiple fish off one bait, as opposed to if you've filleted and frozen and defrosted mullet before. You'll know once you've frozen it, it becomes pretty mushy afterwards, whereas this stuff here, very pliable, and your meat fibers hold together a lot better. As you can see, no mushiness, very solid. You can push it, very solid bait, and it will hold together well to resist pickers like your hussar and things like that when you're targeting your better fish like your trout, reds and nannies. So I'll go through and show you the process. I've got about 20 kilos of mullet fillets here I've salted up, so I'll show you the process on how to do it, how long it takes, and we'll package it up. And then we've got some fresh fillets down the end here, and a few of the squid that the boys caught on our last trip. I'll show you how we do the squid, because they come up a whole lot better than standard fresh or frozen squid as well. So in this bucket here, these ones I do in the fridge. In this bucket here, I've just left them outside. I know you can do that, that's sort of the original way of doing it, but I do them in the fridge just to keep it cool and that sort of thing. But I'll pull these ones out shortly and see how they come up. And just for people who don't want to put them in the fridge, you can try that method out and see how it goes for you. Alright, so this here, this tub here is how I pack them in the fridge. So as you can see, underneath here we've just got a layer of mullet fillets covered in, I just buy pool salt from Bunnings, cover them in pool salt. And you don't want your fish, you don't want your fillets overlapped, or you won't get good salt penetration in it. A little bit, you know, a centimetre or so is not too bad, but you don't want fish or squid the same. You don't want them stacked on top of each other, or you won't get as good a product in the end. So I simply just scratch the salt off the outside and stack them up. You can see those two were slightly overlapped, and it's still come out just fine. So I'll pull a few of these out, get them ready to be packaged up. Alrighty, so that's one tub unpacked. I'll just get one of these guys that have been left out just in a bucket in room temperature and see how they compare to the fridge method. It's very similar, probably slightly, this one's probably slightly drier, but the outcome's the same. Just smells like fresh filleted mullet. It doesn't stink. You'd think it probably would after being in a bucket for, it's been in that bucket for 3 days like that. And I can't smell it here. It's only until you put it up to your face you can actually smell it. So yeah, I'd be happy to use that. That's worked pretty much just as well. Like I say, it's probably ever so slightly drier. You can possibly tell by the skin here. This one here is just in the bucket outside. It's slightly drier, but very minimal difference in that. I'm assuming it's still going to work just as well. So if you don't have a spare fridge to put this in, or you don't want to put it in a fridge, just in a bucket like that's fine. In the fridge I like to do it for 2 days. These guys went over 3 days because we were out fishing forgot about them. So 3 days is fine, but normally 2 days is plenty. So yeah, I'll get these out, get the rest of these guys out, get them ready, and I'll show you how I package them up ready. I freeze them after this, or if it works out right, I'd like to do it just before the trip, but freezing them is fine. They'll stay nice and hard and usable. Once they're toughened up like that, they stay like that. Okay, so we'll just cut a few of these bigger fillets down, ready to be packaged up. Normally just 2 pieces is fine like that. If you're fishing for reds and nannies and all the bigger stuff, a smaller mullet fillet like that, you'd about the size of your hand, I'd leave whole as a bigger bait. So these are the smaller ones I'll keep whole, and then a bigger one like that I'll cut in half, so you get the 2 baits out of him. So I'll cut all these up now, get them ready to be packaged and frozen. The beauty of doing all this now is it's less time spent preparing bait when you're on the reef or in the boat. It makes a very big difference to some of the sessions you can have if you've got all this stuff prepared now, and you get onto a really good reef fish bite and you're busy trying to fillet mullet, or you know, find where you've left a bag of pillies or something like that. Can make a big difference to that session. If the fish only turn on for an hour and you're wasting time prepping bait or gear, it can make a hell of a big difference to the outcome of your fishing session and your fishing trip. So doing the prep before you leave home has big advantages as far as I'm concerned. I've proven it many a time on my boat, that having bait prepped and gear prepped ready for when things decide to turn on makes a big difference. So I'll cut these up, I'll dig the rest of these guys out, and we'll package them up, and then I'll get some of the fresh stuff out and I'll show you, just all my salt here, get some of the fresh stuff out and I'll show you how I pack them down. Mullet and squid's all done the same. And then I'll show you the difference between fresh squid, and I'll do another video in a couple of days of the squid once it's dried out. So I'll get them all packaged up. That's an example of the bag there. So it's very handy when you're in a boat. Like once you've frozen it, you can leave that in your side pocket of your boat or on your bait board or wherever. It doesn't need to be frozen, it can be left out. That's the beauty of doing it like this. You don't have to worry about wasting space in your esky trying to keep bait frozen or cold and really fresh. So yeah, I just do bags up like that. They're very handy. You throw 3 or 4 of those bags in for a trip, and yeah, you'll get a lot of nice, really good fish out of that. Alrighty, I'll package the rest of this stuff up and get back to you when we're doing the we're packing down the fresh stuff ready to be salted. Alrighty guys, well, we got all the mullet packed away down here. We got 6 big bags. 6 big bags of packed down fillets. So they're ready for the next trip, ready to go. So that's only half the rest of the mullet I got in there. That whole bag's full of mullet fillets, so I'll end up with 12 of those bags, which is going to be good. So that's probably 12 bags is probably 3 to 4 trips worth of bait there. So comes in handy doing it in bulk lots like this. So now I've got one of these trays empty. I'll show you how I do it. You can see they've got holes in the bottom here, and these ones stack on top of each other, but you can use anything you've got laying around or you can find. So first step is a layer of salt in the bottom, because you really don't want, whatever you're salting down, you don't want it essentially touching anything other than salt really. So the squid can go on the bottom. So we just put them in layers. They're big donkey bloody pencil squid, these ones. This one's 25.5 centimetre hood on that one, so it's one Dallas caught. That's probably the biggest pencil squid I've seen, I think. And then these ones, these are perfect, just perfect reef bait size. Salted down, put that on a set of gangs, and yeah, just about anything's going to climb all over that. So pack them in. I'll probably get, so as you can see there, we've got a pretty well good layer of squid there. So now fill all your gaps with the layer of salt. So a layer of salt there. We'll put our last two squid in, and then we'll start with some mullets. So 2 mullet there with a tiny little overlap, and then same deal. Fill it in like that. You don't have to be too pedantic, as long as you got a reasonable bit of space between them. So you can see there will be a small overlap there, but like I say, nothing, as long as it's not hugely overlapping. A centimetre here and there really doesn't make that much difference, as long as it's not completely one on top of the other and you've got no way of getting salt around it anywhere. It'll still work fine. Alright, so there's one tray down, ready to go in the fridge for 2 days. I'll start on the next ones. Alright guys, so I'll get these couple packed down, and we'll come back to this video in 2 days time when the squid and mullet in that tray are ready to be packaged, and I'll give you a bit of a comparison on the fresh to salted squid, so you get an idea on that one. Alright guys, we'll see you in a couple of days. G'day guys, well it's been 2 days since we packed our mullet and squid away, so I'll get some of the squid out and give you a look at that now that it's been salted for a couple of days in the fridge. So you can see there's not really much difference to the appearance of the squid. Still looks very fresh, in good condition, really exactly the same as the day you caught them. They're just a whole lot tougher. You can't pull it apart. They're, yeah, just super tough. Will outlast most pickers, and like I say, we've had, when the nannies are on the chew taking baits pretty quickly, we've caught 2 and 3 good solid nanny guy off these without having to add any more bait to them. They last a whole lot longer, so that's the big benefit of salting your bait down, is a lot longer lasting product. So one, you need less bait for a trip and catch more fish on each bait you got, which obviously makes it a lot more efficient when you're in a hot bite. If you don't have to put bait on every drop, then that's a massive bonus. You can take your hooks out of your fish and drop straight down. You can see these big ones, awesome condition, really tough. Can't pull that apart, still, you know, nice and pliable. It's not like cardboard. You tentacles and everything still got plenty of life in them. So yeah, essentially look and feel like a fresh squid, they're just a whole lot tougher. So I'll get these all unpacked and pack them down, and with any kind of luck in the next week or two we get some nice weather for the reef, and I'll be able to show you them in action. A few of the mullet and squid. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll probably do a couple of part series to this on just what I do, to give some of the other fellas a bit of information on what I do and how I think it makes a difference to a fishing trip. We'll do some stuff how I prep my gear. This has sort of covered the bait pretty well. Generally I really only use squid and mullet for the reef trips, with a few yakkers here and there and some tuna if I can get hold of it, but that's pretty rare. So these are my main two, especially when we're heading north. Particularly the squid really goes off on the northern trips, so we always make sure we got plenty of that. But yeah, I'll do a couple of parts on sort of the gear we're using and how I prep the gear and those sort of things, to give you some handy tips on how to try and improve your reef fishing sessions. So if you enjoy it, guys, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for the rest of the series. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you later.